We are back with another video, and I thought this one was very fitting. I'm going to respond or react to whatever to this video here about this teacher who reportedly got fired for what I believe is preaching the gospel. Now, we're gonna watch this video, of course. I will share my thoughts on it. Just as a heads up, my laptop is dying. It is on what is 20%. So hopefully we can get this out going. The one time I feel like recording videos for y'all, my laptop's dying. I forgot to charge it. I've been writing all day. Um, should have charged it as soon as I got home. But anyways, let's share the screen. I always forget how to fucking do this shit. Like, I'm sorry to be cursing all y'all, but I shouldn't be forgetting anyways. But it is what it is. All right, so I think we just need to get this out the face, and yeah, we're gonna play this, and then I'm gonna respond to it. All right, 1 minute 33 seconds. Let's go.
Don't rush being grown. It's overrated. If I had to rate being an adult, if I could go on the internet and write a comment to rate my experience as an adult, I would give it 1 star. My comment would be very bad, would not recommend. Want to be grown? You don't want these problems. Do you know when you become an adult, you do not get to do what you want to do? You do not get to go where you want to go? I think it's a misconception. When I get grown, I can do whatever I want to do. No, you can't. You can do whatever you can afford to do. Number one. Number two, especially once you have kids, you do whatever your kids allow you to do, because that's your first responsibility. Plus, you got to pay for a place to stay. In Arkansas, that's between $900 and $2,000 a month. Getting a car, that's between $300 and $500 a month. Car insurance, that's about $250 a month. We still hadn't got a haircut, hadn't got our hair done, hadn't bought a new pair of shoes, haven't gone out, hadn't had a good time, haven't gone to the comedy show, haven't gone to the basketball game, haven't done any of that. It's overrated. I would advise you to enjoy being a child, enjoy being a teenager. Why? Why do I say that? Because you have 70 years to be an adult. From age 18 all the way to 88. You can either be 88 years old. That's 70 years that you're going to be an adult. You're only going to be a child for 17 years. I want to encourage you to embrace being a child.
Now, beautiful message. Beautiful message. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I have some of my qualms with it, but I'm not going to go over it. Number one, because like I said, battery dying, but also I wanted to touch on the reports that this man got fired for this message right here. He didn't curse. He didn't threaten anybody. He didn't tell those children to like don't once you turn 17 kill yourself because it's all downhill from here. He didn't say any of that. The overall general beautiful message was to those teenagers who probably needed that message was you all are trying to you're acting grown. You think you're because you're getting older that you're an adult or you're getting close to that and you're not really acting, you're not enjoying your youth. You're not acting as if, a teenager should. You're not doing teenage things. You know what I'm saying? You're getting yourself in a path where, adults or, probably getting into trouble that adults would get into, right? Or, would be a harsher punishment if you were an adult. But still, great message from what we saw with that 1 minute and 33 seconds. The man was reportedly, allegedly fired for that. Now I didn't look into the background of all this. I am just going to speak on the premise again that this man is fired. If you know more about the backstory of this information, what went on, did he really get fired for it? Please leave it in the comment section below because I would definitely love to know more about what went on. Why did the school decide that this was a fireable offense? Because I bet you if the man was a white transgendered teacher detailing in graphic detail to those children about their um post-op surgery or pre-op their surgery and how they're a post-op transsexual now. Graphic details. I'm talking slideshows, and I'm not just talking like random animated science type of like, I'm talking actual graphic photos of the genitalia and what they turned their genitalia into or whatever the case is, what was, removed, what was all those gory details that I'm even getting sick of thinking, right? All of that stuff. I bet you if he would have done something of that nature, and again, if he was a white transgendered teacher doing something of that nature, and this is not a science class or a biology class, this could have been history, this could have been math, any subject that isn't in regards to all of that, this individual will still have their job. And even if it wasn't as gory and graphic as detailed as I said, there have been many videos that you've seen on TikTok or just in general of just people detailing their sexual life, their personal life, their in general to their underage, none of they got dang on business students. And to me, that's unprofessional. That's real unprofessional. I don't care about the sexuality, even if it was a straight person talking about their love life and things of that nature. I've had straight teachers rant to us when I was a student, when I was these students' age, and even younger about their love life or their dating life as a queer teacher or as a straight teacher. I was sitting there, yeah, was I loving the wasted time that yeah, I'm gonna love the wasted time, but was I loving what I was actually hearing? No, it was not like I didn't give a damn. And there was always a part of me that was like, I don't think this is appropriate for me and my peers to be listening to. Don't you got friends? Aren't you friends with Miss Brown? Aren't you friends with, this person and that teacher? Why aren't you talking to them about this stuff? Why are you venting to your underage students about this? Back then, I found it weird. I find it weird now. You know what I'm saying? I found it weird as an educator. And again, that's another reason. Peep the last video I did. I talked about my stint as a teacher. But unfortunately, this guy, allegedly, unfortunately, was fired for this message, and it just goes to show, like the last message well, not the last message, the last story, the last short that I made was telling educators, former educators, teachers, like get online, get on YouTube, get on a platform, get on these other you have a message that you want to put out there, you want to teach people. The school system, unfortunately, is going to pick and choose who they want to who they want, to get away with certain things in certain aspects. If this message right here is deemed as inappropriate, I don't see why the example I gave of teachers detailing their sexuality, telling their personal business to students and stuff like that. I don't see how that is appropriate, but this man motivating his teenage students to stay teenagers and to be an adult, to only try to strive to be grown when they actually hit adulthood. I don't see how that message is fucked up in the eyes of the school that he once worked at, or allegedly once worked at. But again, and I'm not saying that the I guess the inappropriate actions that I've seen from educators, I'm not saying that they are from this man's school or this school that he used to work at, right? They may have been small world, right? But I'm not saying that's the case. But I still think that pointing out both double standards here is definitely needed. Another aspect of it, something that I did not mention, and first of all, that video that I did, the last video was about an hour long. I'm gonna link it at the end of this video. It was about an hour long. If I would have gone on in more detail about everything about my experience, it would have gone on for almost 2 hours, I would say, or at least another half hour, which I think it was at an hour and 30 minutes anyways, that video. So again, almost 2 hours. Had it been an extra 30 minutes, had I talked about the aspect of a lot of these schools, especially in the these, let's just say, these liberal cities, um, masculine black male representation is very much lacking. And that is by design. It is not because black men are just like, no, we don't want to be teachers. I'm not saying that's totally the case, but you know, no, not black men aren't going to schools or going to in the education field at a rate compared to, black women or compared to just women in general. No, but there definitely are black male educators out there. There are definitely black males who've wanted to get into these public school systems. And, a lot of them are driven out. I think that we are treated as a demographic. We're treated like, even within these liberal spaces, we're treated as just DEI hires, as in we need, we need a black male face because we have all these women here. We got a couple black women. We got a couple women of color over here as well. But there's a whole lot of women here, and there's not a lot of men. And if we just hire a white guy, we don't want that to be the only male face here. So we're going to need to hire a black guy. And then when you actually get the black guy, it's like, okay, we only want to accept a certain type of black guy, right? And I'm not saying these things as an insult. I'm pointing these things out for people to actually see what's going on over here. You know what I'm saying? When I point these things out, it's not to insult the queer community or, insult anybody who isn't a straight individual. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that stuff. When I say I don't care, I'm not saying I don't care about you. I'm saying that I don't hold that against people at all. What I'm saying is if you're pretending like there isn't a game being played here, you're bugging. I think you're bugging, you know? But this thing's about to die, like I said. But honestly, I think it's a shame that they fired this man over this video. Like I would play it again for y'all, but I'm afraid this thing's about to cut off. But honestly, like this, I think this is one of the more positive messages. I mean, I won't say it's anything as positive as I've given my students. I'm just biased here, but it's one of the more positive messages I've seen a teacher go viral for. A lot of the other stuff that I'm saying that I even said in that last video, a lot of the stuff you see teachers going viral for now is them talking about how their kids can't read. Their kid is 7 years old and they can't read. Or the student is 7 years old, or the students in this grade and they can't read, or they're going into almost going into high school but still reading at a second grade level of some sort. It's about terrible parenting, of course, or it's about, again, why they're quitting, teachers, again, getting sexually harassed, all this other stuff, right? So that's a lot of the stuff you see going viral now in regards to teachers. This man's gone viral for giving his students a positive message, being a positive black masculine influence in the lives of these students. And I think that right there is the real issue that this school district has had. And it wasn't like he recorded himself doing that. He was secretly being recorded by a student. Right. And again, the example I gave, you have these teachers recording themselves, front face camera, phone, and everything. I'm telling my students about my bottom surgery. I'm telling my students about my sex life as a queer individual. And it's like, congratulations on your surgery. I love the fact that you're expressing yourself with who you like you're living your truth. But why to your fucking students? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear, well, they're like my children. I spend so much time with them, but they're not your children. Like my children isn't your children. I couldn't get away with that for the 17 years I was at teaching. I couldn't say that was like my daughter, that was like my son, no. If I were to still, do things and then, punish that child and as if they were my child, I'm still going to get in trouble for it. Like your child is not your actual child. That's number one. So that means that child who is like your child, because you're only with them for 5, 6 hours of the day or so, Monday through Friday, by the way, not the weekends, not every day of the week like their actual parents are or should be. But that's no excuse to share that information to your children, you know? But again, stuff like that is excused. I have yet to see a situation to I don't see videos like that. You don't see videos like that anymore because I think that it took the public to shame those teachers into saying things like this is gross, this is nasty, or and it's not gross and nasty because you are who you are. It's gross and nasty because you're telling this to a bunch of kids. Like, why are you telling this to a bunch of kids? And I feel like also they stopped because a bunch of them were actually trying to groom those students and thought they can get away with it because these were the Biden years, and you couldn't call out groomers of a certain political leaning because then they would just label you as being queer phobic. Anyways, that's all I got to say about this situation here. As you can see, I'm going to charge this up and hopefully record some more videos because, like I said, I'm in the mood to record, but my laptop isn't. Anyways, y'all let me know what you think. Do you think this man should be fired for this message? What do you think about this message in general? And yeah, have you seen worse messages than this? Any thoughts you want to have or relative to this video, or you just want to say hi, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And again, like I said, definitely if you do have more information on this, I would love to know. So please leave it in the description, not in the description, but comment section below as well. All right. Till next time, until next video, y'all see me when y'all see me. Take care.